It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Since 2010, your weekly source for independent New York Red Bulls news and opinion. Now, from the Joe Goldstein studio, here's your host, Mark Fishkin.
There was a time where forwards scoring goals for the New York Red Bulls was considered something out of fiction, and yet on Wednesday night at Red Bull Arena, all 4 goals came from New York Red Bulls forwards. It's all happening. It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. I'm here with Gustavo Guimarâes. How are you, Gustavo?
Very good, Mark. Very good. I'm feeling so good, especially because of that too.
Absolutely.
It's amazing to see the forwards scoring.
Incredible. Before we get into it, the liking, the subscribing, please do both of those things on this clip. We really appreciate it. Bogach opens his account. Sofo stays hot. Erik-Maxim Chopuo-Moting picks up a brace of penalty kicks in a 4-2 win over Charlotte. The May Marathon is on its last legs. We are almost done with this unbelievable 9 matches in May. Can the Red Bulls finish up strong over Atlanta United on Saturday? Tonight we'll go inside the win over Charlotte. We'll give our bull of the match. We'll look back at this crazy months of games. Preview Atlanta United coming into Sports Illustrated Stadium on Saturday. No guest for the show. We're just going to go right to email. So let's get into it. Gustavo, Schwartz completely rotates the lineup, which I know raised a number of eyeballs among Red Bull fans. Was this the match to rotate the lineup? Is Saturday's match against Atlanta the match to rotate the lineup? Nevertheless, 7 of 11 starters for New York, 23 years old or under. He really kind of let the kids play. Forsberg, Chupo, Harper, also 23 and under on the bench. Bogach gets his first start and scores a phenomenal goal, sir.
First of all, I would like to give props to the fans that battled the weather and made to the game.
And the traffic.
It was not a pleasant night here in Jersey.
No.
And they deserve all the kudos from us. So, amazing. I agree with Schwartz rotating the squad for this match. I think in the long term, it was the right moment. I just felt it was the right moment against a team that historically we don't have problems facing at home. So pleased with that. It was nice to see the forwards scoring, all of them. It was nice to see Bogach with the ability to score a goal with one touch only. Same goes to Sofo too. Sofo was in maybe an even harder position to score because he was facing backwards to the goal, and that was amazing to see too. Beautiful performance going forward, going back. Not so much. I thought the defensive mistakes were causing us trouble again. You see Duncan running behind the opposition player in the first goal. You see Sean, his body language not happy. Things need to get better defensively, but a win is a win and everything is fine now.
Yeah, Kyle Duncan with an incredible distribution to Bogach for the first goal, first touch outside of the boot, high degree of difficulty at speed. And just for a moment, Victor Bogach and Mohamed Sofo, you can see the future of this team right in front of you. Sofo with his 4th goal of the season. I mean, for a kid who I think was a bit of a surprise that got the nod to come up the first team, he has definitely shown a nose for goal, and that's something that, to be fair, Chopuo-Moting's 9 goals notwithstanding, has been missed. Guys playing at the top of the formation, able to convert. Wiki with a great pass as well, so good for Wiki. Wiki's been kind of a necessary stopgap, I feel, at a time when he's the ultimate utility player. I don't think he's excelling, and I don't think he's continuing to level up as Red Bull fans had hoped he would, but certainly a valuable performance. Again, Vargas on the equalizer on a counterattack that, New York plays how New York plays. They're pushed up. They're pushed up all the way into the Charlotte half, and there's not a ton of blazing speed in the center coming back, and that will happen again in the second half. So New York goes up 2-1. Into halftime. They come out. The subs come on with 23 minutes from time. Chopuo and Harper. Chopuo earns a penalty kick. Harper earns the other penalty kick. The struggling thing for me, though, in those periods between the penalty kicks, New York just conceded all possession, completely went into a shell. And when they were up 2 goals, and even more so when they were up 1 goal after Abada put the rebound home. And it looked, after the first half, where Charlotte was completely content to give New York the ball and see what they could do with it, for large stretches of the second half, playing with a lead, New York just went into a defensive shell and dared Charlotte to break them down, and it led to some really nervy moments for New York. Coronel with a couple of really important stops. Harper wins the PK deep into injury time to ice it. This was as close a 4-2 win as I've seen in some time. I mean, this was a 2-goal win that was a lot closer than it could have been. But again, Forsberg doesn't play. He gets a complete rest, and that'll come in really valuable on Saturday.
Yes. What I had in mind when I was watching the game is that until the subs came in the second half, I think the first team was completely out of ideas about what to do on the field, and nothing else. Just basically stuff. Let them get the ball and try whatever they want to try, and let's see what we can do on the counters. If you recall, too, first goal was on the counter and everything else. I thought the first penalty, clearly for sure. Second PK, I think it might have been a bit too soft, but hey, it is what it is. And pleased to see Forsberg resting too.
For sure. The one again, we gripe. They won. They've won 5 of 7, very, very quietly, including 2 in the Open Cup. But New York has to do a much better job killing the game off. We knew that they had some challenges doing this earlier in the season. And yes, it was a divine pass that unlocked Cam Harper that was able to earn that 95th minute penalty kick, or 97th minute. New York has to do a much better job going to the flag in injury time when you're up a goal and trying to kill a game. There were a number of times where Red Bulls players either just whacked it down the field when they could have carried it down the field, could have gone to the corner and wasted valuable time. They did it a couple of times, but I mean, really incredibly frustrating, and a lack of awareness over the game state for me. So nevertheless, some terrific notes coming out of this game. Daniel Edelman's 100th appearance all time with the first team in all comps. That's a great, great milestone for the homegrown. Kyle Duncan's assist on Victor Bogac's goal ties him. That was his 17th career assist for the Red Bulls. Ties him for the all-time assist lead among defenders in club history with John Tolkien. So I thought that was great. Chopuo-Moting has 5 goals in his last 5 MLS appearances, and became the first Red Bulls player with at least 9 goals in his first 16 games with the club since Kenny Cooper in 2012. And so we talk about the time that international players often need to acclimate to Major League Soccer. I mean, for me, Chopuo has fit right in. And yes, you can make the argument a lot of these goals have come via the penalty spot. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. I mean, we were hoping for 16 starts out of him for the season and 10 goals. And here he is. I mean, he could be a 20-goal scorer for New York this year, which would be tremendous. So that's a good segue into Bull of the Match. Who do you have, sir?
My Bull of the Match will go to Kyle Duncan for the filthy assist. That was so beautiful to see. I love when the guys foreseen the play and he was able to put the ball in the future point, and top notch for me. Kyle Duncan.
Chupo's 2 penalty kick goals notwithstanding, and to be fair, Kalina's a great goalkeeper. One cheeky chip down the middle, one hard to Kalina's right. I'm going to give mine to Victor Bogac. His first MLS start, his first MLS goal. It was a beautiful goal, as we said, a high degree of difficulty, and I mean, good for him, man. Just phenomenal stuff. All right, so congrats, gentlemen. Let's take a look at the end of this unbelievable run of matches in May, because New York had started off on a poor foot, had a couple of hiccups in the middle of the month, but by and large, this month has been a huge success and could end on a fantastic note on Saturday if things go the right way. Obviously, the month started with the brutal beatdown in Miami, a 4-1 loss where, I mean, frankly, New York was completely outclassed, and certainly the worst loss that this team has had from a result standpoint since the 5-1 home derby loss last fall. Just New York wasn't into it, but the team rebounded 3 days later. A trip to Colorado Springs of the USL took care of business with a mostly rotated squad, 4-1. Then the White Wedding. New York drops a condo on a very bad and still winless LA Galaxy squad, 7-0 with the own goal, the capper in injury time, just phenomenal. Then a tough stretch. It was 4 days, a tough 4 days where New York goes to Nashville. I thought played pretty well, to be honest with you, and lost 2-1. Then the visit to Queens, where it was just not their day. They looked tired. They looked disinterested. Coronel makes the horrific mistake in the back. It's a 2-0 loss. And that was their last loss, which was less than 2 weeks ago. And since then, all the team has done is won 3 straight matches. The first with a miracle 94th minute free kick goal by Forsberg in injury time, and the penalty kick win over FC Dallas at home that put the Red Bulls on the road to the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup, which will be at Philly, as we know, on July 9th. Then a clinical 2-0 win at DC, the club's first road victory of the season in the league. And then the 4-2 win over Charlotte. And so you're now looking at a team that, as I said before, they've won 5 of 7. And although they must clearly be exhausted, they put themselves on pace. If things go right, and I'm not projecting, and there's no reason or nothing like that, New York could be 4th this weekend in the East at the midpoint of the MLS season. What do you take away from these unbelievable 9 matches in 28 days, sir?
The ability to bounce back. Specifically after the loss in Miami. At that point, I thought things could be really bad coming to the game against the Colorado Switchbacks, and it was pleased to see the way the team showed how strong they are mentally. Some tough losses, Inter, the New York City as well.
Yeah.
It's never good to lose a derby, and they were able to come back right away. So the mental ability to bounce back, I was very pleased to. Just like you said, they can be 4th. And I do expect them at this point to be in the 4th position. I don't expect them. I never expect them to be outside the top 4 in the Eastern Conference, because what they were able to do at the end of last season. I thought they could carry on to this one. And sometimes I think we can be very hard on them.
Yeah.
This is a group where you either have older players or youngsters. And the youngsters are really shining. Sofu, nobody expected Sofu to be at this point where he is, and he missed a couple of weeks due to medical problems. And we gotta give props to the medical team too for the ability to keep Chopuo, Forsberg healthy.
Yeah.
At this point, and tough month of May, but in the end, 5 wins in 7 games.
5 wins in 7 games. You mentioned Sofo. I'm going to give props to Omar Valencia. 5 assists, leads the team in assists. When we come
I
back,
think he's tied. I think he's tied with Forsberg, no?
I think
Forsberg
Forsberg
has
has
5 too.
4. I don't know. Nevertheless, maybe some Open Cup action. But nevertheless, the team after Saturday's match is off for 2 weeks, and after 9 games in May, the team plays 3 times in June. And I think it will be a very welcome break for everyone. We know that Lewis Morgan is on the verge of returning. If you're Sandra Schwartz, maybe you just say, "Hey, bud, we're just going to keeping you. We're going to keep you off the field, and we're just going to give you 2 more weeks of rest and preparation to come back for the second half." June for the Red Bulls on the 14th. There's an international break after this week. June 14th at Austin, June 25th at Toronto, and June 28th home for the Loons. And that's it. And then things get going again crazy in July. But nevertheless, for New York if they're able to get the job done on Saturday, wind up in the top half, in the top 4 in the East, and to be fair, other results have to go their way to get there. They can win and not get there. They can win and stay 8th where they are now. That's totally fine. Or 7th.
They won twice and they're still in the 7th place.
Yeah. So, I mean, the East is a dog pile. It's not going to be decided until late in the season. But after some mid results, kids, things are better. All right. So let's take a look at Atlanta United and let's bring up some graphics, won't we? Atlanta United is 4-7-5 for 17 points. They're 12th in the East. Atlanta was supposed to be an Eastern Conference contender by signing Latte Lath and bringing Miggy back, and it hasn't really worked out for them. They've scored 21 in 16 games, which is not great. They've allowed 28, the 3rd worst defense in the league. They're next to last in clean sheets in the league. They've only had 1 clean sheet in 16 matches. Only the Galaxy are worst, who have had 0 clean sheets. They're tied for second in second half goals conceded with 20 of their 28 goals have been conceded in the second half. They've also conceded almost near the top in set piece goals. And you know that Sandra is going to have the team ready to focus on that. And they're the worst road team in the East. Keep in mind the Red Bulls have all of 1 road victory, but nevertheless, Atlanta only has 2 road points in the East, 2 road points on the season. Not great, although they have shown signs of getting off the mat. Their last 2 matches have been wins, including a last-minute comeback win against Orlando. But again, their last 5 matches, these have all come in the last 2.5 weeks. 2-1 loss at Chicago, a 1-1 draw at Austin, where Atlanta got a goal in the 92nd minute to draw. On the 17th, they lost 1-0 at home against Philadelphia when Ty Baribeau had a penalty kick goal in the 59th minute. That was the only scoring in that match. I think it looked a lot like the Red Bulls and Atlanta's 0-0 draw from early in the season. Then a 4-2 home win against Cincinnati, where the team took a 2-0 lead, conceded twice, and then it was 3-1 nevertheless. And then the most impressive match was just this past Wednesday when New York was beating Charlotte. Atlanta went down 2-1 to Orlando and scored in the 83rd and the 95th minute to walk away with a 3-2 win. So they're feeling it. They're starting to rev up. Themes for Atlanta. Finding their form over the first 14 games of the season. Atlanta won just twice. Now they've won their last 2 matches, equaling their win total from the first 2 games of the season and doing it against Orlando and Cincinnati, both of whom you can consider to be Eastern Conference contenders. There's no doubt that Atlanta roster has the talent to be a contender, and it looks like they finally may be on their way to putting it together. They've had a very good week, folks. That's it. The central reason is their attack, which had been floundering, finally finding its form and finding out why Atlanta paid $50 million to sign those players. But in the back, Despite recent improvements in terms of efficiency in front of goal, one thing that remains prevalent is their defensive struggles. They've scored 7 in their last 2 games, but conceded 4. 2 against Cincinnati, 2 against Orlando. They have the 3rd worst defense in all of MLS. There's no real sign of that changing anytime soon. Okay, let's look at the history. This is the 20th all-time meeting between these teams. That you can argue this is an outward rivalry. Like this is these two teams have bad blood, and a lot of it comes from Atlanta's joining the league, and we all know about 2018, blah, blah, blah. Enough said there. The 20th all-time meeting, the Red Bulls lead 8-3-6 in the rivalry. The last time these teams met, of course, was the second game of the season, I think. They were on the road. It was a scoreless draw. It was really, I mean, I call that match a defensive masterclass. Everyone defended incredibly well. Raheem Edwards spelled Omar Valencia, who picked up a yellow card in the first half and played his best performance as a Red Bull in that match. But New York hasn't beaten this team in the last 3 meetings. The last time New York won was a 4-0 win almost 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years ago that New York has beaten Atlanta. A lot of draws in this series. The Red Bulls have never lost to Atlanta in Harrison, 5-0-3. All-time leading scorer, Danny Royer with 4 goals. Love to play against Atlanta. Tim Parker, Lewis Morgan, Serge Goma, each with 2 goals. And finally, what looks like maybe the lineup. This is Ronnie Dela's 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, depending on how you think about it. Brad Guzan is 40 years old. Again, he has only 1 clean sheet so far this season. Around the 5-man backline could be Pedro Amador, a Portuguese who's played 10 times, no points, Lewis Abram, Derek Williams with a goal and assist in the center, Matthew Edwards, a 22-year-old American, and then Saba Labjanidze from former Soviet Georgia has 5 assists from the right back slot, and he is definitely a player to be concerned about. The 3-man midfield, Jay Fortune, a 22-year-old Trinidadian with a goal, Bartosz Slisz with 2 goals from Poland, and Alexei Moranchuk with 2 goals and 3 assists on the right. You can see the points coming down the right. Now, in the match that the Red Bulls played against Atlanta early in the year, Moranchuk and Almiron really were kind of on top of each other. Moranchuk said it took a couple of games for him to figure out where Miggy wants to be. Almiron has absolute freedom in Dela's system to play wherever he wants and go wherever he wants because of his speed, even at age 31. 3 goals and an assist. And then Latte Lath up top, he of the $28 million or however much they spent, 5 goals and assists, which is great, but it's certainly not Chopuo-Moting output. So with that said, my friend, what are your thoughts on what we might see on Saturday night at Sports Illustrated Stadium? New York is going to have a completely refreshed Emil Forsberg. That makes me feel good.
It makes me feel good too. And if we go back to the stats,
yeah,
though they're showing some signs of life lately, they tied in the second of most conceding goals in second half, right?
Yes.
Maybe it's something to think about and to start the same team Sandro did against Charlotte.
Yeah.
And save the guys for the second half. Maybe it's a strategy that can pay off at the end of the day.
That would be really interesting because those guys are feeling super confident and giving those young players a chance to really run the show and come out on top with a little bit of help. I thought will certainly pay dividends. That's a really good that's a good notion. I mean, I'm terrified of Lobanjise. I'm terrified of Almiron. I'm terrified of Latte Lath. New York did really, really well on their fake grass of playing them to a standstill. I'm thinking it will be a wetter, slower track in New Jersey on Saturday. New York does not want Atlanta to get out and run. So whether they play 5 in the back, whether they push for it late, it should be good. Do you have a prediction of what we might see?
Of course, I have a prediction.
Let's hear it.
It's a 3-0 win, New York Red Bulls.
Oh, wow.
I'm feeling super.
I mean, That's really that's a good prediction. I'm going to call it. I mean, I'm not even going to dare to be different. I'm going to call it a 2-1 win with both Red Bull goals coming after the 60th minute. And maybe we'll see Lewis Morgan if the game state requires it. But nevertheless, when we're back on Seeing Red, a short email bag, but one that's important and valuable. So keep it here. It's going to be very strange to revert to doing one game, one show and one game a week. Yes, we'll try and pull off some Seeing Red, White, and Blue for the Gold Cup, which is coming up. We know that New York, the U.S.'s top stars will not be available for this tournament. We know the Club World Cup is coming. The Red Bulls are clearly not playing in it. We're not really going to spend a whole lot of time in that. But I welcome a little bit of a break. We will do a first half wrap-up show. It's hard to believe that we're there, that the season is half over after Saturday. It's incredidy. So, and we do have Leagues Cup to look forward to as well. You can write us anytime at seeingredny@gmail.com. Of course, the team, we get more emails when the team loses than when they win. But nevertheless, here's Jordan Glass, who says, "Morning, Seeing Red. Sorry for the book. This was after the DC game, by the way. Hope you enjoyed the long weekend. Always great to get the W over DC. I wanted to toss out a bit of a radical thought. The Red Bulls don't need to find another striker. I said it. Part of the reasoning is the upcoming return of Lewis Morgan, but that's not the only reason. I think it's time we started to look at Harper and Sofo as starters for this team. They've both been proving they can put the ball in the net. And Chopuo playing the role of distributor, this could be exactly what the team's been looking for. Now add in a Lewis Morgan, and wow. The game against DC, I noticed that Forsberg started moving into more of that supportive winger midfield role, which he loved doing at Leipzig too, and more importantly, he thrived there. I'd argue that they should be looking at a right back and a left back. I'm tossing out some serious hot takes. I noticed that Harper and Duncan seem to be getting at it a bit, and I think we could all agree that Edwards is not the solution. I'm going to step out for a minute. Marcelo Morales is playing with the 2 team. He's going to be ready soon. He will be ready after the break to come back and play and see what he is. And I think this comment is discounting what Omar Valencia has done. Nevertheless, back into the email from Jordan. I noticed Harper and Duncan. I'm thinking he may be a better fit for a right midfielder or left midfielder when Schwartz moves to 5 in the back and a great attacking wing back. On the topic of 5 in the back, shout out to Schwartz for making adjustments mid-game. Great to see, and even better to see it pay off. He saw that Duncan was having issues on that side, and like a true professional, made the change. The season is far from done. This is true. We all knew May was going to be tough, and of course, it could be going better, but I'm here for it. Let's go Red Bulls. And since that note, again, the Red Bulls win again at home. They are second in the East in home form. They're 6-1-1 at home. Remember last year when the team was really struggling at home and we were all wondering, where was the fortress that the Red Bulls were supposedly putting out there and protecting? Well, that has happened in amazing return to home form this season. On the road, not so much. But nevertheless, thank you, Jordan, for your note. What do you think about Jordan's comments about that we don't need another striker?
I think he might have a point there, but I'm not feeling that confident as he is. Chopo, obviously, great player. Great to have him here. Bogac, getting there. I don't think it's time to sign another forward, to be honest. But I don't know. I'm gonna try to stay out of it for a little bit.
We know that Felipe Carvalho's contract is up at the end of June, his loan.
Yes.
By the way, the Red Bulls, again, they don't just have the second best home record in the East. They have the second best home record in the league at 6-1-1 at home, and that should definitely be celebrated.
That's why I think sometimes we can be extremely hard on them, unnecessary, right?
Yeah. Yeah, listen, they're plus 13 at home, and yes, the 7-0 victory over LA has so much to do with that. But still, you can't argue with that kind of success. And yes, we certainly get down on the team for their home loss against DC, which was a tough night. It really is. It just speaks to, again, how competitive the East is. The fact that teams 5 through 8 are separated by 3 points. There's a whole lot to be played here, but this is a game on Saturday that New York should, playing at home, playing in form. Yes, Atlanta's won their last 2. New York has won their last 2 as well, and the quality on that team obviously is meaningful. Ronnie Dalo won games at Red Bull Arena because that's what it was then when he was with NYCFC. So anyway, thank you, Jordan. Overall, any last thoughts, sir, before we wind up this episode of Seeing Red?
Gotta give props to Omar Valencia too. You said it pretty well. I was thinking about him. Young guy, young player, nice character, coming up good, coming up strong. I don't think there's a need to sign another right back there.
All right. And your prediction
Left
once
back,
again?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Your prediction once again?
3-0 New York Red Bulls.
I'm going to call it a 2-1 victory. Gustavo, where can folks find you on the internet?
Folks can find me on pitsideus.com or Blue Sky, even though I still have to start writing more things there too.
Yes, we need you there. We need you there for sure. Want to thank Zach Fellman for stats and you for watching and listening. We will be back next week to do kind of a first half of the season recap. But we want to thank you so much for being part of the Seeing Red family. Let's go Red Bulls, and enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.